I've asked him to come and check the bike out. I'm going to try and convince him to do the MOT. Dozy here is moaning about his bike feeling not very nice, right? He jumps on it, it's nowhere near temperature, and says it's not running nice. Let it get to 3 or 4 bars, Rajab. It's 0 today, right? It's freezing. Yeah, so you're driving with cold, thick oil. You're doing a lot of damage to your engine, I think. Give it a minute idling, let the temp go up. The oil has to get warm. Yeah. Right, where am I? I'm still waiting on that other moped, but let's get this airbox out if I can. I don't know how easy or hard it is. And let's switch over to the new one, because that could actually just solve our issues on this. The new one looks so much better. So let's do that. I don't know how easy it is, but I'll work it out.
Why don't you take it to the...
Yeah, the shop will do it for like 80 quid. It's worth the shop doing it. Guys, that's the new airbox in. It just looks so much better than the old one. The old one kind of cracked and fell apart as well, look. So that was gone. But the new one looks better. Let's I've got a battery. I'm not sure it's the right battery. Let's chuck that on, fire it up. It's also not the right spark plug. I switched the spark plug for the Herald. So really, it should probably work, but it's not the right spark plug. Or it is, but it's the 7, not the 9. And I'm finding the hotter ones work better for some of these bikes. So battery on. Let me see if it fires up. Let me see if it's the right size battery. I think it probably is. And if it's rideable, I'll get Rabjab to give it a spin, because I think this bike is not too far off Rabjab's bike. Someone was telling me in the comments the mudguard's back to front. How can it be back to front? I mean, it's absolutely not back to front. How have we got that? How have we got that mixed up? Yeah, that is the style and the look. Right, let me battery on, fire it up. I'll put you on the stand. It's not pieced together, guys. It's not, it's not ready for a test ride, but I just want to see if it seems better, idles better. I want to see what happens. So there is a second-hand fuel injection system. It's 40 quid. It's not that much, let's be honest. The guy's away till the 13th. The 13th. What? I'll watch it for now. And I'll see. I have got my manifold coming. I'll be so tempted to do a carburetor conversion. I'm just curious. Get rid of all of the extra electrics. So that's if it fits. I really don't know. I bought a generic Chinese manifold to convert, and it's a round one and all, so it won't be a CG carb. It will be something else. It's kind of like this one. You see this engine, it's kind of back to front, right? It's that way, but most of them, look, this one has one here that's that way. I mean, it's not the right shape, so it wouldn't fit, but it's hard to get the exact manifold. That's the issue. And that one's completely different. I think that's it. I don't think I can do any more today. The Lexmoto's up, advertised. I think that will sell pretty quick. The scooter's good and fixed. I think he wants me to do MOT, but I'm going to try and convince him to do it. This is toast. That's sold. I'm delivering that tomorrow. I might have to buy another project. I might have to buy something else, because that's going to go, let's be honest. Yeah, I might have to pick up another project or two over the next week or so, because I think that may never run well. I might be messing around with that a long time. One thing I'm not sure about is, can I use the mechanical fuel pump on that for the carb? I would have thought you can. It must have a system that either recirculates the fuel back into the tank or something else. What I would have to do is work out how I convert this to fit the carb, because it's a pressurized system, and also, would it be too high pressure for the carb? Oh, actually, look, I could probably just switch it up here to a line. Okay, that would work. No, it's not. It's that one there. I'll need to work that out. I might be able to slide over the top, cut it, slide over the top, put a line in. That should work. Lots of silliness, lots of silliness. I do think I should check the valves. I know I keep saying it. I do think I should check the valves. But that's it, wrapping up. Guys, let me know what you think. Projects are starting to move now. The charity's still happening. That other moped was meant to be here today. Annoyingly, it wasn't. We're still doing charitable stuff, but it's not always as advertised. But that was a good fix, that one. That was a good fix. Nice runner as well. Yeah, back on the road, exactly. And actually it's working. Steering lock works, ignition. That wasn't meant to happen. I don't know how that fell into place, I've got to be honest, but it did. Cool. I need to get online and see what's next, really. I need to pick up, I think, one more project, because I think this is going to be quite boring and long-winded. So this bike sold after a week on the market. Nice guy buying it, watcher of the channel, or now is a watcher of the channel. Coldest morning of the year, snowed all night. Well, lots of snow last night. Started absolute first press of the button with choke on, of course. Now I'm not warming it up fully, but I do want to know that a bike starts before I ever drop a bike to someone. I think it's really important. If the bike's going to go wrong, I want it to go wrong in my care so I can fix it. I'd rather message the guy and say, I'll send your deposit back, or can I have a week? On this occasion, I took a deposit, £200, because I had two other people, very, very serious. They wanted this bike. In fact, they wanted this bike so much they wouldn't even entertain the Michigan, which is nuts because the Michigan's great. The guy watches the channel, so he wants the old products back. It is definitely an original tank. It is not an original seat. But, I mean, part of me was considering keeping it, but I don't think I'll use it anyway. The tank should definitely go with the bike. It's original. Whatever, the seat's rubbish anyway. I don't like the seat anyway. But this, look at this. This is unique. I wish I could have stamped it with something, whether it was Motorcycle Rescuer, because that CG tank has just made an absolute... It looks a bit like an old army bike. I didn't realise I didn't take the emissions system off this, but it's running so well, there's no point really. But normally I would have taken the emissions off it. Yeah, so I'm delivering this now, Sunday morning. It snowed all night, but nice guy, and he really, really appreciated the work in the bike. I mean, when you sell a bike like this, you have to be really clear that it won't be perfect. There'll be quirks, there'll be things that annoy you, certain bolts, or the way something's bolted, or something here, or bits of rust. There'll be little bits that will annoy you. They're not, my builds are not perfect. I never pretend that they are. So there'll always be a little bit of a ongoing serviceable item in some ways, but let's be honest, they all are. They all are. Yeah, so I'm going to go and get the fan. We'll get this loaded. Hopefully I don't slip on the ramp. And we'll get this guy a bike. I do want to start storing some of the money a little bit. I want to build up a bit of a bank account. But I can't. I'm out of projects. That is not going to be a quick fix, that Scrambler. So I think it's going to have to be... I'm going to have to try and find another project for about 300 quid. And then store the other 700 or whatever it is. Hey everyone, and welcome back. I've not been to the garage for a couple of weeks. It's felt weird. I've been so busy, unbelievably busy. Plus, my projects are down, really. Look, I've got the Herald sold, the black Herald sold in that version. I had a bit of a panic on that. He called me back a day or two later and said, it's got electric issues. He was very polite, by the way. He's always been very polite. But he said, there's electric issues on this bike. The rear light comes on and stays on. And now it's killed its battery. And I thought, and I was really trying to work it out, because I remember putting a new battery on it. So I sent him some money and said, look, buy a new battery anyway. But ultimately, in the end, we worked it out that there was a freezing cold snap, which there was. It had snowed. And actually all the batteries, lots and lots of batteries kind of died in that, including a lot of mine. And secondly, he didn't know that there was a side light on the ignition, which keeps the backlight on all night. You can still take the key out, right? It had a side light or a parking light, whatever you want to call it, and he'd left that on, so it wasn't broken electrics, it was part of the bike. But other than that, he's loved the bike. This Michigan sold now. I'm actually delivering it tomorrow all the way down to Eastbourne. The only thing I want to do today is charge this battery fully. I think it's fine. I might even just throw the multimeter on it and check it. But I just like the idea of going all the way down to Eastbourne and just knowing that it's fully charged. Yeah, nice guy, this guy. He's done a lot of research. He's going to be quite picky, this guy, which is fine. You know, you should be. But actually, this is a nice bike, you know, from how clean the chain is and kind of serviceable to everything, all the serviceable work I did on the brakes. If you really think about what I've done on this bike, I've made it serviceable for the next few years, and it's fully serviced now. One thing I'm not happy with on the bike is the engine management light, or the service light, is on, but I don't have I can't reset it. I don't have a connection for these bikes. I don't even know where the port is. Maybe that's something I'll look into in the future, getting one. But I just think the ports are going to change over the years. I just kind of know how it works, so do I bother? But the bike runs and rides beautifully, so there shouldn't be an issue there. And actually, it's quite common for my bikes to have them lights on after I've done servicing work, cleaned electrics and this and that. It's not related to the way it runs. And then this thing, as you all know, I don't like this thing at all. I can't stand it. I just think I should burn it. But after weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of research, it's not going to fit. I don't think it's too far off. It might be that I drill out these holes bigger. It's not too far off. The main thing is that the hole seals. I have a feeling the hole behind here is bigger. It's a pain, guys. I'm telling you, it's the EFI system here. It's just junk. It's all junk. Something goes wrong and it can't manage it. It's as simple as that. And then it had that stupid circulation system on. Electrically, it just can't manage it. It can't do what it needs to do. If I could buy one of these off the shelf now, I would. I'd buy it and chuck it on. They don't exist. They're not out there. I'd want the whole innings, though, the whole works. They don't exist. They're not out there. I just want to go to a carb. I want to go to something that's just serviceable. So I want to go to a carb where you can just tune it as you want, rather than mess around with all the electrics. I really think a carb system on here will be so good. I just think it'll be great. I'm going to pull this off now. I'm going to pull this bike out anyway. One thing I noticed in the editing of recent videos is that it idled better earlier on when this was open, so with a little bit more fuel, air even, it idled better. So I don't know, but I can't stand it, so I'm going to pull this off. I'm going to see if I can make this work. Otherwise I'm going to kind of learn the dimensions of that and see if I can do something else. All the other engines, these are FMI engines, all the other engines have carb versions, which mean it already exists. See, even that one there, look, you can replace that for carb. I mean, that's already a carb version anyway. But this one is the only one that's turned the wrong way round. Look, it's that way round instead of that way round. All the others are that way round. And this engine doesn't have an early version that had a carb. Otherwise, the manifold would be out there. It would be free. So I'm really struggling with this. It might even be that turn upside down, that will bend it out this way. It might even be that can come across. So for now, I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to start taking all that off because it's junk. It's done, and we'll see where we go from there. My other concern with a carb is how I get the fuel pump into the carb. I mean, in my head, I can just connect the fuel pump up to the carb, right, and have it pumping. It is stopping when it's full, so it should continue to stop when it's full. But I just feel like something there won't quite work. Like, it will think it's full by hitting the valve, won't it? And then it will stop. I think there's an issue there. But what we can do is go to free flow if that's an issue. We'll just ruin the inside or In fact, I think it's free flow down to the pump anyway, and I think it pumps from there. So there is an answer there. But the first thing I'd want to do is have a carb on here with a separate tank with some fuel in, and to see if it would just run and idle better than it is now. But let's start dismantling it a touch, because it's junk.